So why exactly did the stock market sell off after the Federal Reserve decided to cut interest rates? I thought cutting interest rates was a good thing. So let's go ahead and break this all down. I really hope that after this video, your question is answered. And remember, if you have any further questions, feel free to ask it down below. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I actually ended up live streaming the FOMC meeting today, the actual report, and then the actual live stream where Jerome Powell answered questions for about 30 to 45 minutes. Feel free to go back and watch it. During that live stream, we caught live the NASDAQ market absolutely tank from highs of 540 per share all the way to lows of 512 per share. And during that live, you saw me actively short PLTR, which is where I walked away with $6,400 in the green, closing out my trade completely. And then after the sell-off, I quickly bought into the dip into Tesla and then selling it as it returned back to the EMA. Walking away with $2,600, leaving myself with my one lucky share. So it was a pretty successful day. Not the biggest day for me because obviously I traded with a decent dollar amount. So, an $8,000 return is, don't get me wrong, very, very great. I'm very happy for it. But with how much the market sold off, there's definitely a lot more meat on the bone that I could have tried to rip off. But I tried to keep my trading simple today and for two specific things. So what exactly was reported? Well, the Federal Reserve stayed the course. They did cut interest rates once again for the last time in 2024. That is not why the market sold off today. The market sold off based off of the expectation based off of the previous FOMC meeting that the Federal Reserve was going to have 4 interest rate cuts possibly in 2025. Now they've updated their forecast for 2025 and it's just 2 rate cuts. So why is that a bad thing? Well, it's less than what the market was expecting. And this is where Wall Street gets or begins to be a problem because the stock market is a leading indicator because analysts and Wall Street like to factor things in advance before they actually happen. This is where you get the quote or saying of buy the rumors, sell the news, because none of that was actually bad. It's just simply less rate cuts than what was expected. But also there was the tone of Jerome Powell, who's the head of the Federal Reserve, this man you see right here, that wasn't very aggressive or hawkish in cutting interest rates. And I think that's the sentiment that he gave off. This was one of those FOMC meetings where I saw him answer questions and the dude was yapping. He normally doesn't talk very much or expand on giving different examples, but this time he spoke a lot. He seemed maybe a little nervous or unsure, and I don't feel like the market really digested that sentiment very good. Now, is this the end of everything? No, it's just the way that the market's digesting him right now. But just like in September, the markets were going up based off of what he forecasted. So again, markets are always changing. These FOMC meetings always change the market sentiment. So kind of looking back, this is a very important day. So when you hear that another FOMC meeting is going to happen, just know that volatility will often present itself. The second thing that I wanted to highlight is one of my favorite questions that was asked during this meeting. And it was when Jerome Powell was asked, do you plan to buy any Bitcoin? An analyst actually asked him that. Do you plan to invest in Bitcoin yourself? And he clearly stated, well, again, it's against the law based off of people in his position of power. He's the head of the Federal Reserve to even buy Bitcoin. And he stated, I wouldn't care for them to change the law. Therefore, I'm not interested in buying Bitcoin, which is very funny because supposedly it was him that said that Bitcoin was more like gold than it was like the US dollar. And because of that comment, this was about a week to 2 weeks ago, is actually what caused Bitcoin to exceed $100,000 per coin. And it's really funny now looking back, it now sent this same person, Jerome Powell, who's the one that said that about 2 weeks ago, now says he wouldn't care to invest in Bitcoin himself, now correcting pretty much what he previously stated, causing Bitcoin to sell off. Now, Bitcoin, again, touched to lows of 100,000, trying to establish its support here. But we'll see. It's still very early. The question that a lot of people are asking is now a good time to buy? It's still too early, in my opinion, to decide. I'm really excited to see how the market trades tomorrow and to see if the sentiment continues. Are we going to just resume back to being bullish for no reason and our market's going to recover? If so, then I can go long. Or is this something where, again, the market's going to be slapped back into reality and all the stocks that were extremely overhyped up, like Tesla, like MSTR hit lows of $338 per share today. It made me smile. Although I didn't get to short it, it just made me smile because, again, it just proves that these companies are weakening. The hype is beginning to fade. And remember, the more hyped up a stock is, the more it will correct itself during moments like this. Any overreaction on the way up always leads to an overreaction on the way down because, again, there was more hype being factored in. So I'm super excited to follow up. So again, the two main takeaways. The first one is the market is not falling because they decided to cut interest rates. It's falling because of the forecast of less interest rate cuts in 2025. And the second thing is Jerome Powell pretty much said, I don't care for them to change the law. I am not interested in buying Bitcoin, therefore causing Bitcoin price to sell off even more. Very excited to follow up. I hope to see you for tomorrow's live trading session. And like I said it before, I trade live every single morning and it's $1 a day is what it breaks down to. If you want and like my trading style and you want the ability to be able to watch me trade live every morning and you're a complete beginner, click that second link down in the description and you'll be able to sign up for $1 a day. And yes, it's a one-time payment, lifetime access. I'll see you tomorrow at market open. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.